Hi guys, my name's Jennifer Spurrier and I'll be reading Practicing Practice Part 1. And Nathan, the client, walks into my office and says, "My name's Nathan. I don't know how you guys can help me in my situation." Non-verbally, I would respond to him by standing up and smiling and shaking his hand and say, "Well, good morning. It's very nice to meet you. I'm so glad that you decided to come in and speak with me today. My name's Jennifer Spurrier and I'm the social worker here. You may call me Jen or Jennifer, whichever you prefer. May I ask you what you would like me to address you by? Would you like me to call you Nathan?" And assuming that Nathan says yes, that would be great. And I would proceed and say, "Okay, Nathan, can I ask you how you referred to our agency and what brought you in today?" Nathan responds, "I got the information from your services here the other night when I stayed at the shelter. I've been homeless for about the past month living in my car. Things have just been rough lately." I would then non-verbally position myself about arm's length away from him because I wouldn't want to intrude in his personal space. And I would verbally respond and say, "I'm getting the message that you're saying it is rough staying in the shelter because you're homeless. I would like to explore what you mean by the word rough and get a better understanding of your situation. Can we start by you telling me a little bit more about your education and your job history?" Now, I respond with "we" because I want him to feel that he's supported and I want him to feel that we're beginning a professional relationship so that we are a team. Now, Nathan responds, "About 2 years ago, I got my master's in engineering and the company that I did my internship with offered me a position with them after my graduation. And that was great. It was a small company, but it was a good job and I was happy to have it." My nonverbal response would be to raise my eyebrows and nod my head and say, "Wow, you seem to be proud and enthusiastic about your job. It appears that you're well educated in your profession. You must have exhibited desirable qualities that the company offered you a position after completing your internship. So, what had happened that you had lost your job?" Nathan responds, "Apparently they messed something up with one of their contracts, one of their big jobs they had, and there was a lawsuit and things like that. And eventually the company just closed down and took my job with it." At that point, I would non-verbally shake my head and back and forth and say, "That's really unfortunate for anyone to lose their job, especially one that they were happy in and really enjoyed. You sound like you were very upset when the company closed down and you lost your job." Nathan responds, "Yeah, after that, I was kind of, left in the air. I didn't really have anywhere to turn. I started looking for jobs in my field in engineering, but there's just nothing to find. And if you find one, it's like they tell you they want 5 or 10 years of experience. But how are you supposed to get that if they don't give you the job in the first place?" It was like, it's just like, man, At this point, I would like to give him direct eye contact because I want him to know that I'm listening to him. And I would verbally respond, that does sound contradicting. But I'm hearing you say that you would like to stay in your same career field. So what have you been able to do or accomplish in the meantime since your job loss?" Nathan responds, "Since then, it's just been minimum wage job after minimum wage job, sometimes 2 and 3 at a time. Just whatever it takes to keep my head above water. It takes a lot out of me. It's kind of demeaning. That's what I went to school for in the first place. It's to get out of these kinds of positions and not to have to be here. It just doesn't seem like there's any relief in sight." At this point, my nonverbal response would be to have a very calm tone of voice. And I would respond verbally by saying, "It seems like you're frustrated with not having a steady job. Sometimes it helps to have a support system to buffer some of these emotions that you're feeling. What are some support systems that you have?" Nathan responds, "I mean, I don't have any family I can rely on. My family act like they wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole." I would verbally respond by saying, "Do you know, or if you can you list some places that can provide you with services or assistance? There are plenty of services that we can find together that can assist you with getting you back on your feet if you're willing to hear about them." My nonverbal response would be kind of like this while I'm asking, like, "Do you know?" of any places, and can you list any places? And the reason why I say if you're willing to hear about them, because I don't want to go ahead and start listing and giving him a bunch of places if he doesn't really want to hear them. At the same time, he never okayed that he wanted to be in a professional relationship. So he didn't okay to be in, to proceed with any intervention. So I would want him to say yes first before we go ahead and proceed with any type of interventions. Nathan then responds, well, I don't know. People have mentioned going on public assistance and things like that, but that's not me. You know, I work for what I get. It just seems lately, the harder I work, the more I sink. It's like quicksand, you know, and now I'm in this hole and I just can't get out. I mean, I've been broke before in my life. You know, this ain't the first. But I actually feel broken. And if that's the case, if it's me, and there's something maybe there's something I can work on. At this point, I still want to give him direct contact, and I kind of want to let him feel that I'm a little excited about getting into helping him and getting into a professional relationship with him to give him more interventions. And I would say, my impression of you is that you're motivated to make a change so you can stand on your own 2 feet again. I can tell that you're a hard worker and you have the willpower to accomplish your goals. Sometimes we have to walk through a storm to see the rainbow waiting on the other side. We can work together to set goals and objectives so that we can evaluate your progress. Does this sound like a route that you are willing to partake in? At this point, I want him to confirm that he is willing to begin interventions. I start saying that sometimes there's a storm that we have to walk in to get a rainbow, to give him a little bit of hope. And anything else that I would like to share with the engagement process would be, Nathan was fidgeting, and while the engagement process was going on, I would like to address that once he proceeded to go with the interventions. I also don't think that any silence in the engagement process would work with Nathan, because it might come off offensive, and he already feels that he doesn't have a good support system, and I don't want to come off that way to him as well, because he came to me for help, and I just wouldn't want to give him that impression. This concludes my video.